Hi all. There was a fascinating film on television last night called the Luzhin Defense, Luzhin Defense. So it was a 2000 movie directed by the Dutch director Marleen Goris. The screenplay was written by Peter Berry. By the way, this information is from Wiki. It was based on the novel The Defense by Vladimir Nabokov. So he in turn drew upon the events of his old friend Curt von Bardeleben, who committed suicide, unfortunately, in 1924. If you happen to know the game, there was a game Steinitz against Bombardment, where Steinitz had played this brilliant combination with a kind of, I think it was a seesaw check with rook to g7. I think I might have done a video on it as well, actually, if you want to check out Steinitz against Bardeleben. But he just walked out. He didn't apparently resign. He just walked out of the tournament hall. So he was perhaps a bit obsessed by chess, and the movie depicts, this great obsession. And this position here, let's go back one move. So he just checked his opponent, and they had to adjourn this position. But unfortunately, in the movie, he, like the person in real life, Bardeleben, he actually committed suicide. He had trouble first getting to the venue. He was put in the middle of nowhere by his old chess coach, who didn't want him to win the match. And when he did get back, he was greatly disturbed. So his wife had to play the final moves out. He had managed, before his suicide, he'd written out the combination, which wins here for black. So I wonder if we can go through this puzzle position in effect. So here, black's behind in material, and white has two possible moves here, king f2 or king g4. So let's look here. If king f2, this is relatively straightforward to see how black can win. So I'll let you spot it. 5 seconds. Okay, black can win just with rook takes c3 check here, so munching up the rook on c1. So that's kind of straightforward, because black went up a rook up. The more complex variation, which has something very nice about it, is if king g4. So king g4, how would you proceed here with the black pieces? I'll flip the board actually. So you're playing black here. What would be the next move now? So you're a whole piece down, and white potentially is going to play knight d5. So do you want to keep checking the white king or not? I'll let you have 5 seconds here to find the right move, which I'll give you a clue. It's a check. Okay, the move played was f5 check. So it's bringing the king further up the board. So now let's see, well, if the king moves to h4, let's have a look at that first. If king h4, there's actually a mate in 1. Can you spot the mate in 1? 5 seconds. The mate in 1 will be bishop e7, so white has to be a bit careful. So white has to play king g5 here. That's the only other candidate move. And here is a beautiful quiet move actually, which might be quite difficult to spot. So I'll give you 10 seconds from this position to see the beautiful little quiet move, which black plays first. 10 seconds starting from now. Okay, the move is king g7. So this simply allows now black the threat of h6 check. It's protecting that h6 pawn. So h6 check will be mate. No, not quite actually, because king h4. But then we have bishop e7. So white wants to do something about h6 check, king h4, and bishop e7. So in the film, when it was played out, so white played knight d5. So it seems to be a good move, refuting black's attack, because we're now attacking the rook and the bishop. If rook takes c2, rook takes c5, and white would be winning. I hope. Okay, let's just quickly check that. New variation. Rook takes c5. Actually, this isn't so clear either, because rook takes g2 check, rook takes h2, rook d2. No, this is clearly a piece up for white. So basically, in this position, this is critical now. So after knight d5, your rook and bishop are attacked. So even though you might win these 2 pawns, you would still be a piece down. So you want to find something clever here, and there's a really fantastic move played here. A genius move. And for this, I'll give you 15 seconds, starting from now. So black to play. Your opponent's just played knight d5. So starting from now, 15 seconds, or stop the YouTube video. Okay, I mean, this is a move when I was looking at the film, I had no idea this resource existed. Well, I suppose you'd have to see King G7 as well as the prelude to this. Beautiful move was actually Rook H3, believe it or not. So this does a lot of things. It's threatening H6 mate straight away, even if the bishop's taken H6 mate, because the king can't move. And after G takes H3, we have here a mate not with the bishop not coming to E7 but somewhere else. Can you spot the mating 2 from here? I'll give you 5 seconds to see the next move, which is a check. That's a big clue, actually. Okay, so 5 seconds from now. Okay, H6 check. So the king is forced to the only square, King H4. And now, can you spot the final mate? 5 seconds. Bishop F2 mate. So I thought that was quite an interesting puzzle position and a very dramatic film. So this person was just completely obsessed with chess from a young age, and his coach, you know, was giving him a hard time in this World Championship match. It was apparently to win the World Championship against an Italian grandmaster, and this was the adjourn position before the tragedy occurred. So let's run that through again. King G4, F5 check, King G5. Now this quiet killer move, King G7, just threatening H6 check, followed by Bishop E7 mate. So knight D5, guarding the E7 square, but it was this other F2 square which proved critical after Rook H3. Beautiful rook sacrifice. So after G takes H3, that also stops any G3 resource, because the pawns are crippled. There's no G3 anymore. So a bishop on that diagonal is more lethal now. There's no defense to that Bishop F2 mate. I hope you enjoyed that, and please leave any comments on YouTube. Thanks very much.